It is normally form the fundamental basis of which all other budget are constructed. So that's what it is very important budget they are preparing. It provides a sound basis of manage the cash position. So majorly the position is talking related to the business financial position. The major revenue are generated from the sales. So obviously they want to communicate with the production department, purchase department, finance department, each and every department. So the sales very important. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Natesh, lecturer in commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. We are in the Unit 5 Session 2, 4th semester BCom, Costing Methods and Technique. The chapter name is Budgetary Control and Standard Costing. And today my agenda, in the last session which is related, you got the meaning and the definition and advantages and disadvantages. Okay, and today my agenda is the types of budget, the sales budget and cash budget, purchase budget, production budget, a fixed budget and flexible budget. So moving forward one by one. So under budget, the types of budget we classified into based on the time function as well as flexibility. Okay, and time. So the budget will start from the first one, very important budget we are preparing for the sales budget, so which is interconnected to other budget also. So obviously sales budget, even the sales department are preparing for sales budget, the production department are preparing a production budget, and the raw materials budget, purchase budget, labor budget, production overheads budget, selling and distribution budget, administration cost budget, and the capital expenditure budget and cash budget. So in your syllabus, which is very clearly specified the problem you are expecting for the flexibility budget as well as cash budget. So now if you try to classify it based on the flexibility, so one is fixed. Okay, for example, the 10,000 product, if you are the management want to decide it to produce, to prepare the budget, which is a fix. If it is 9,000 or 11,000, 9,000 or 11,000, so which is going for the flexibility. Okay, and now under time period, we majorly based on the time period only we divided. So one is the long term budget, short term budget, and current and ruling budget. And moving one by one according to your syllabus, the cash budget, you will get more clarity. So who is prepared, who is a concerned person, what responsibility they at the time of preparing a budget they having. Okay, the sales budget is estimate to total sales which may be articulated in the financial or quantitative terms. So everything which is related to the monetary aspect, so obviously we can take the count or measurable, so which is related to forecast the sales. It is normally form the fundamental basis of which all other budget are constructed. So that's what it is very important budget they are preparing. So which is interconnected to other departments. So obviously the sales budget will communicate or coordinate between other budgets. Okay, and in practice quantitative budget is prepared first, then it is translated into the economical terms. So the major revenue are generated from the sales. So obviously they want to communicate with the production department, purchase department, finance department, each and every department. So the sales very important. So while preparing the sales budget, the quantitative budget is generally in the starting point in the operation of budgetary control, because the sales become more often than not principal budget factor. It's very principal important budget at the time of preparing a sales. Okay. So in fact, the factor to be considered forecasting a sales as follow. So what factors will be for it is very important or important criteria to prepare a sales budget. So the study of fast sales to determine the trend in the market, because based on the trend only we are able to predict the demands. Okay, so once you are identify the you will get to know the demand. So immediately the message has to convey to the production department. They start producing the product, then only we can meet the demand. And estimate made by salesmen various market of company. Now according to the times, according to time, according to the trend, according to the geographical area, the sales are forecasted. And the change of business policy and method according to the sales, which is related to policy, what we are making, what kind of methods adopted, so which is completely depend. The government policy, control, rule and guidelines, everything which is we are talking related to the sales connections. And the potential market and availability of material and supply is very important to take steps for the production department. So if they start producing, then only the sales department they are try to meet the demand what they are expecting from the market. Moving to the cash budget is which this budget also it is there in your syllabus. You can expect questions based on the cash budget. So how you are receiving a cash, what is the payment, so the log period, so everything which is connected to the cash receipt and payment. So the cash budget is a sketch of the business estimated cash inflow and outflow over a specified period of time. So what and all the expenditures which if you want to meet, of course the receipt of income is very important. So majorly where you are expecting a income, so through the sales only we are collecting, either you are expecting from debtors, the collection period. Obviously the cash budget is focusing only for cash related transaction, either it is an inflow and outflow. The cash budget is one of the most important and one of the last in the prepared. Okay, so it is a detailed projection of cash receipt from all source and the cash payment of all purpose and the resultant the cash balance during the budget. So they were, as a management, they want to get to know what is the available cash positions or liquidity position at the time of preparing budget. They will get to know the opening balance and closing balance. And the functions of cash budget, obviously it may show that the enough cash is available when it is required. Okay, so always they are maintaining a liquidity in the positions. It designated the cash excess and shortage so that the step may be taken into the time invest and excess cash and borrow fund to the any shortage. In case if you are not preparing a cash budget, you will not get to know where we are facing a shortage, okay, when we are expecting a cash from the, and it show whether the capital expenditure could be financially internal. Okay, so which is talking related to the capital expenditure and the revenue related items, so only based on the cash mode here. And it provide fund to the standard growth. So the growth is completely, the working capital is completely depending on the cash mode. So obviously, and it provides a sound basis of manage the cash position. So the majorly the position is talking related to the business financial position. So at the time of available cash or sufficient cash balance are there, means of course you can run your business very smooth moving forward. So there is one more budget which is related coming under the functional budget, so purchase budget. So the purchase budget which is directly coordinating with the sales as well as production department and other. And strategic plan of purchase offer one of the most important area of reductions cost in the many concern. Okay, so at the time of available raw materials are very cheap, so you need to think when I want to purchase. If the production department they start producing the production activity, they are taking any steps which is completely based on the purchase department. So what kind of materials, when they are purchasing, right time they want to purchase. This will consist of direct and indirect material and service. Okay, obviously, so the materials based only as the production manufacturing concerns are standing. The purchasing budget may be expressed in terms of quantity and or money. So which is how many means which is related to the quantity, the money, how much you are spending when you are purchasing, right time you have to purchase. The purpose, the main purpose of this budget is the first one, designated the cash requirement in respect of purchase to be made during the budget period. So if you are taking any steps to go for production or meeting the demand for the market, sales department, the production department are communicating with the purchase department, then only they are start purchasing the product, so they start producing the product. So it facilitates the purchasing department to plan its operation in time in respect to the purchase, so that the long-term forward contract can be organized. Suppose you are expecting a demand, usually the normal basis you are expecting, all of a sudden you are expecting more demand. So obviously the purchase department they want to alert, right, to purchase the raw material. And moving to the production budget, so which is also quite similar, which is very important, coordinations between the sales departments. The sales department they want to meet the demand what they are expecting from the market. So the productions department they want to supply, so as per the demand as well as supply should be matched here. The production budget is prepared the basic of estimated the production of budget period. So every department they are preparing a budget for 1 year. Okay, so according to their convenience. So usually the production budget is based on the sales budget, so which is completely based on the sales budget. So simply blindly they cannot produce, and if they produce, the storage problem, the transportation, the life of the product, so everything is matters. So based on the demand, if you produce, so it is at the time of preparing the budget, the production manager will consider the physical facilities like a plant and power, factory space, material, labor available for the period, what and all after purchasing they start producing, they want to store properly, the transportation will happening timely, so they will dispatch the goods, the supply chain management will be very important. Production budget envisage the production program for achieving the sales target. So the budget may be expressed in terms of quantitative or money or both. Either your number of batch wise you're producing, product wise or unit wise producing, and even the cost factor also very important. So equally both are important here. So the production may be computed as follows. So the how many units you are expecting, you need to be produced. Okay, the desired close stock of finished good. In case the last year any production is there, means of course the finished stock availability, the closing stock will be opening stock for the next year, and the budgeted sales what you predicted, so minus beginning stock of the finished goods. If you subtract the number of unit produced, easily you can calculate here. Moving forward for the fixed budgets, which is coming under the flexibility. So whatever the standard is you are setting, which is always fixed here. Okay, the fixed budget is prepared to the one level of output and one set of conditions, so which is a standard. So either which is increase or decrease, which is going under the flexible. Okay, this budget is which target the tightly fixed. It is known as a static budget. Okay, which is completely, there is no changes we are finding. So that's what which is a fix here. It is a firm and prepare with the assumption of that there will be no changes in the budgeted level of motions. Okay, so there is no, the time studies are not required here. So thus it does not provide room for any modification in expenditure, which whatever you are fixing a standard, so according to the standard only which is going here. Due to the change in the projected condition and activity, the fixed budget are prepared well is advance. So always they are preparing in advance. Okay, so this budget is not useful because there is a lot of difficulties also we are finding here. So the condition go on the changing and cannot be expected to be firm. So if you are trying to fix a fixed budget based on the what exactly the price quoted by the supplier, so either it can be increasing in future days, so obviously which is not useful here. So it does not provide any space for alternation in the budgeted figure as a change in the result in cost, the change in the level of activity. So if the number of activity in the previously they adopted only 3 activities are dependent, so either it is increasing, so the activity basis also the cost is varied, even the material cost, the labor cost also keep on change. In that case it's very difficult. And moving for the flexible budget, we know according to the flexibility we are finding here, okay, according to situation, according to conditions, so we need to change here. So we are just going for comparison. So this is a dynamic budget. So 100% you can expect one question from the flexible budget. Okay, so it is clearly specified in your syllabus. In comparison with the fixed budget, a flexible budget is one which designed to change the relations to the level of activity, either 50% target capacity or 75% or 60% percentage wise, the number of unit 5,000 or 2,000. Okay, so like this we can comparison here. So any equal accurate to use to flexible budget is for the purpose of control. Easily we can control. If I try to produce 50% capacity, what is my result? And if I try to increase 75%, what is my result? So easily we can compare. So the flexible budget has developed with the objective of changing the budget figure, So in the question, if they specified a 50% capacity or 60% capacity, according to the percentage only we are trying to calculate. So majorly we are identified here fixed budget, variable cost and fixed cost here. figures so that they may corresponding with the actual output achieved. Okay, the flexible budget may prove more useful in the following condition. So where exactly? Where the level of activity varies for the period to period. So the number of activities are increase or decrease. So the flexibility will be, we are finding here. Where the business is new and such, it is very difficult to forecast the demand. So in that case, so exactly we cannot predict. So based on the percentage we can predict here. So where the nature of the business is such that the sales go on change, okay, keep on change, so the flexibility will be suitable here. So either 50% condition or 2000 units or 7000 units or 100% capacity, like this. So where the change is the fashions in the trend affect to the productions and sales, obviously, which is completely depending on the trend. So where a large part of output is intended to the export. If you are trying to go getting an offer for the export, okay, you are trying to utilize the maximum what and all available resource. So using a preparing a flexible budget. Keep on watch for next section. Thank you.